Part 44. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 431. Go online quickly. Simon. Law. In the LV6 main city of the Light faction, in the Dark Night, there are bright flames and the scarlet eyes of monsters, making this dark night look extremely weird. The crazy monsters destroyed houses, slaughtered NPCs, and tried their best to release the violence in their hearts. Because it is a LV6 main city, there are very few players, no more than 1,000 in total, and almost all of them are elite teams of the throne. Damn it, there are too few players above level 60 now. I thought about coming to the LV6 main city to defend the city and get as much honor as possible. Unexpectedly, I found the holy beast in a blink of an eye. Tank cursed. Yechen had just teleported here. Hearing this, he immediately looked up and found that a monster that was bigger than a building was destroying the surrounding buildings wantonly. The big guy was made of yellow quicksand, with scarlet eyes, a head and hands, but the whole body was not clearly differentiated, and it was all rolling quicksand. With a casual slap, the upper half of a house in front of him was blown off, the huge debris fell down, either directly crushing the attacking monsters or the panicked NPCs. The muffled sound of the building exploding, the fierce roar of the attacking monsters, the screams of the NPCs, rose and fell, rendering the entire night extremely terrifying. Cell, Holy Beast. Level 62. HP 255000000/25500000000. Skills: Sandstorm, Sandstorm, Blood Eyes, Sand Flow Bullet, Sand Field. Talent: Sand Armor. 2.5 billion HP. This guy is not easy to fight. Yechen was secretly shocked. After all, the Holy Beast is a Holy Beast, one level higher than the sub-Holy Beast. The difference is a world of difference. This is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that the cell is made of quicksand. If I cut off one of its arms with a strong attack, it may grow another one immediately. In other words, strong attacks may not be effective against it. What do you think? Do you want to fight or not? Tank hesitated. It doesn't matter whether the monster attacks the city or not. Can the Holy Beast really destroy the main city? This is impossible. There are NPCs from the Holy Domain in any main city, and some main cities have more than one or two. It's just that the strong men from the Holy Domain will not take action easily, but when the main city is about to be captured, they will definitely take action. In other words, when the monster attacks the city, the player will almost never fail as long as he stays in the main city. Even if you don't fight, you will only get a little less honor points. If you don't fail, there will be no punishment. Fight. Yechen answered decisively, you will definitely be killed if you fight. It's just a matter of time. Tank nodded, and without saying anything more, he directly commanded the army to move towards Shiru. Yechen flapped his snake wings and flew out, while activating his fighting spirit, Bloodblade, and flame armor. Now Yechen is wearing a Wind Warrior suit, and his speed is no less than that of a level 80 Holy Domain Master. A ray of green light flashed through the darkness, and Yechen had already arrived in front of Cell. This cell was bigger than a building, and more than 10 times bigger than the forest King Kong. It was simply a monster. Yechen stood in front of it, like an ant or dust. Even so, it also felt that Yechen was extraordinary. When Yechen got closer, it immediately attacked. A huge sand wave rose from its feet and rushed towards Yechen fiercely. Armed hardening. Yechen shouted softly, and his body surface became shiny black. The three defenses of fighting spirit, flame armor, and armed hardening were superimposed. If it still couldn't stop Cell's random attack, there was no need to fight. The reason why Yechen didn't open the hegemony was that he wanted to try out the damage of Cell. The next moment, the sand wave roared down and submerged the ant like Yechen, -9200. Such a damage emerged. But soon, Ye Chen broke through the sand waves. The hardened weapon had a high stiffness, so he was not blown away by the sand waves. Boom, in the back, countless houses were washed away by the sand waves. Tank and others stopped their forward steps. The holy beast destroyed a large number of houses with a normal attack. This was too terrible. And the damage, although Ye Chen only suffered 9,200 points of damage, they didn't think so. You know, Ye Chen opened the 3 defenses of fighting spirit, flame armor and hardened weapon, but still suffered such damage. If it was in a normal state, it would be terrible. However, Ye Chen smiled. As long as he was not killed in seconds, it was enough. He immediately flapped his snake wings and continued to rush towards Cell. Ah! Cell burst into a creepy and gloomy roar. Seeing Ye Chen flying over, he immediately raised his hand to grab. Its hand was 5 yards in size. Strong attack? Ye Chen's eyes were stern, and the sharp dagger slashed down, pulling out a dazzling red light, cutting off the 5 fingers of Cell's hand, minus 870,010. The damage caused by the LV-100 strong attack was second only to the finishing move. Cell screamed, and the 5 fingers that fell turned into quicksand and fell to the ground, smashing the stone slabs on the street and cracking them. The air wave rolled up and lifted up the pedestrians and NPCs along the way. Sure enough, the effect of the strong attack cannot be reflected. Ye Chen's expression gradually became serious, and he saw that the 5 broken fingers of Cell were immediately replenished with quicksand and grew again. Because of this, Ye Chen's strong attack could not reduce his attack and defense. Powerful attacks are ineffective against Cell, which Ye Chen had considered long ago, but now it has been confirmed. Ye Chen was not discouraged and continued to rush forward to attack. And Cell was not to be outdone, constantly using sandstorms and sand bullets to attack Ye Chen, but these attacks could not repel Ye Chen in the hardened state. Ye Chen's damage is very high. With the blood-sucking effect of the blood blade, every time he is hurt, it will be replenished within 1 second. It's stable. Cell can't kill the president in seconds. In this way, it's only a matter of time for the president to kill him, someone in the group shouted excitedly. Tank immediately waved his hand after hearing this. Boss, attract the hatred of killing Cell, let's go around behind Cell and focus fire on its back. After speaking, Zhao Zaiqian.co war cry sounded, and everyone turned around and went around behind Cell. Soon they came to the back of Cell, focusing fire crazily, and dealing a lot of damage. But just as they imagined, Cell's hatred was deeply attracted by Ye Chen, so no matter how they attacked, Cell didn't even look back, let alone fight back. Time passed by, and Cell's HP began to steadily drop. Soon a minute passed, the hardening of the weapon cooled down, and it would take 30 seconds to activate it again. Change clothes. Iron Warrior. In this 30-second gap, Ye Chen had to change clothes to become an Iron Warrior, because without stiffness, Cell could knock people down in a minute. And the Iron Warrior was obviously the weakest among the 4 warriors. But there was no way, he had to endure it. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 432. Intermediate Mental Stimulation Elixir. This elixir reduces the cooldown of all current skills by 30%. The cooldown of the 90-second weapon hardening is now only 63 seconds. In this way, the weapon hardening can almost be cycled. Ye Chen will use the martial arts technique to fill the 3-second gap in the middle. Ye Chen directly knocked off a bottle of intermediate mental stimulation elixir, and then waited for the next round of cooldown. Time passed by, and Cell could not kill Ye Chen in seconds, but the various large-scale attacks flattened the surrounding houses and other buildings. This place has become an open space. NPC guards and crazy monsters dare not come in, because those who have come in are all dead. The monster siege that should have been a huge siege turned into a personal duel between Yechen and Cell. Of course, the tanks and 1,000 other people were still bombarding Cell from the back. Huh. Yechen lowered his eyes and looked down, but saw that although the ground below had become an open space, it was covered with a thick layer of sand. The so-called open space is just empty without any buildings. In fact, it is a piece of sand. This Cell still has two skills, Sandstorm and Sandfield. Maybe the sand is the precondition of one of his skills. Yechen's eyes narrowed slightly, and he did not dare to neglect it. But at this moment, Cell suddenly roared, and the sand under his feet was like boiling water, boiling. It was like a big wave, swaying left and right. There is something strange, retreat. Tank and others were also in the sand. He saw the sand under his feet rippling, and he roared immediately. The team moved back and slowly escaped from the sand. Sandstorm. Suddenly, with Cell's fierce roar, the sand of the whole sand gathered together, like the bloody mouth of a monster, rushing up. Yechen was unable to dodge, and was swallowed by the quicksand, and then exploded. Bang, with a muffled sound, in the night, the quicksand exploded like a brilliant firework. 179-5005. Huge damage appeared, and Yechen's HP returned to 0, smashing into the ground like a falling meteor. President. Boss. Seeing Yechen's death, the team members were anxious. Yechen had died in the battle, and they still had no hope, just waiting to be demoted. Don't you panic, doesn't the boss have a resurrection? Tank reminded. He figured out that the sandstorm was a skill, and the prerequisites were very complicated. The formation of the sand took a lot of time. And Yechen's resurrection only had a 1-minute cooldown. In other words, unless Yechen died twice in a minute, it was not really dead at all. Resurrection. Yechen stood up again, reactivated BFFS, and flew up to attack Cell again. At this time, after the consumption of the sandstorm, the sand layer on the ground was reduced by more than half. If Cell wanted to accumulate it to the previous thick level again, it would definitely take more than a minute. Time passed slowly, and 4 hours passed in a blink of an eye. During this period, Yechen was killed by the sandstorm dozens of times, but he was resurrected every time. Cell was furious, but helpless. It now had less than 10 million HP left, and gradually went crazy. With a fierce roar, the whole air was covered by a sandstorm. Coverage range, the entire LV6 main city. It was originally dark, and now, the night was covered with a layer of yellow sand. This is not an ordinary skill, but Cell's sand domain, the domain released by the Holy Beast. Damn, this is a domain, and it is an offensive domain. Tank and others were also in the sand domain, deducting more than 1000 HP per second, and within 10 seconds, people began to die. Not only them, this sand domain is an indiscriminate attack. All NPCs and monsters in the entire main city were attacked, and people died every second. Not only damage, but also a deceleration effect. Yechen spread his snake wings and stood in the air, only to feel the sand and stones constantly hitting his face, body, hands, and feet. Because of the hardened weapons, fighting spirit, and flame armor, Yechen did not suffer much damage, but he felt that his speed was restricted in the sand field, and it was restricted a lot. In fact, the sand field can also reduce vision. The sky was already dark, and now it was covered by a sandstorm, and the visibility was even lower. Fortunately, Cell was huge, and Yechen could still easily lock it. Continuing to attack, Yechen felt that his hands and feet were bound by sand and stones, his attack speed was reduced, and his output frequency was reduced. And as the output frequency decreased, the blood-sucking effect of his blood blade also decreased. Gradually, Yechen smelled a hint of danger. Swish. Suddenly, 2 streams of light, one red and one blue, cut through the night and rushed over. Yachen looked at the two streams of light and judged in his heart that his speed as a wind warrior should be that fast. But now, his speed was limited, but the opponent's was not. At least level 5 Dochi is immune to the influence of the sand domain, it should be a saint domain expert, Yachen thought secretly. Soon, two streams of light came to the sky above the battlefield, looking down at Chiru. They were two middle-aged people, a man and a woman. The man had a majestic aura, a black armor, and red dochi on his body. The woman wore a light blue wide-sleeved fairy dress, and her body was covered with green dochi. The two people's fighting spirit exceeded their heads, covering their bodies like flower buds, releasing a strong light in the dark night. Young people are formidable. I never thought that someone would force the holy beast out of its territory. The man locked his eyes on Yachen, and a smile flashed across his serious face. The holy beast's territory covers the entire main city. That's why they can sense the arrival of the holy beast. The woman looked down from a high place, looking at the entire main city. Now, the entire main city is like a ruin, the houses are dilapidated, and the streets are littered with corpses. Seeing this, the woman's eyes flashed with sadness, and there was a hint of relief. If they were a step later, the residents of the main city would have suffered even greater casualties. City Lord. It's the City Lord. And the City Lord's wife, they are finally here, we are saved. Below, countless NPCs roared excitedly. Seeing hope in despair is always so exciting. Shadow of the Gale. The woman raised her hand, and a hurricane surged from the man, the City Lord, cutting through the air and making a muffled buzzing sound. Husband. Yes. The City Lord responded and took out a heavy mountain-splitting axe. He squatted slightly, and a strong aura surged from his body. He maintained this posture for about 3 seconds, and a strong airflow surged on the blade of his mountain-splitting axe, which was extremely violent. Split the mountains and rivers with force. The City Lord's eyes suddenly shone, and his body moved, diving down with a strong hurricane. The speed was much faster than before. Bang! A loud explosion sounded, and Cell was smashed to pieces by the powerful force. 015. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 433. -3250095. The City Lord's axe, with heavy pressure, directly split Cell in half, and then the ground shook, causing Cell's huge body to collapse and raise a terrifying sand explosion. The City Lord is mighty. He killed the holy beast in one move. Below, a group of NPC guards flattered and screamed. It seemed that if they didn't scream like this, they couldn't show their admiration for the City Lord. Damn, 30 million for one knife, it's really powerful. Splitting mountains and rivers, that's the Berserker's level 80 skill, right? Tank and others were also shocked. Humph. Yachen snorted coldly, seeming a little out of place. Now it's different from before. He really doesn't have much respect for the strong in the holy domain. Now he has the ability to kill the strong in the holy domain, so why should he be in awe? That is to say, Cell, his strong attack is ineffective, and the sand field, his speed is restricted, otherwise, he would have killed Cell long ago, and what would the City Lord have to do with it? 2.5 billion HP, after 4 hours of grinding, Cell only has less than 10 million HP left. He is about to get the first kill, and the City Lord is really nice and just robbed it. Yachen's mouth twitched slightly. It was hard for him to say anything at this time. In less than half a minute, the quicksand that Cell turned into after his death disappeared, and the sand field disappeared with it. The night was still the same night. The equipment, coins, and materials left by Cell flashed various colors under the bright moonlight. Among them, A huge shield flashed a constant holy light, which was obviously a holy weapon. But it was the city lord who killed Cell, and these items also belonged to the city lord. Although Tank and others were jealous, they could not pick them up. Swish! Two wind-breaking sounds were heard, and the city lord and the city lord's wife landed. Ye Chen took a look and found that the two had the medals of lieutenant generals on their chests. Lieutenant generals correspond to level 5 fighting spirit. Young people are formidable, little brother. You are so young, but you are already a lieutenant colonel. The city lord dispersed his fighting spirit, strode to Ye Chen, and patted Ye Chen's shoulder heavily. Ye Chen smiled slightly. He was more than a lieutenant colonel, and he would soon be a colonel. It took more than 4 hours of fighting spirit, and more than 10,000 merits were consumed. Most people would be heartbroken, but Ye Chen didn't care at all. Ye Chen also dispersed his fighting spirit. Lord City Lord, thank you for the compliment. Haha, good. The city lord laughed and then looked at Ye Chen deeply. He knew that Cell's HP was as high as 2.5 billion, but when he came, Cell had less than 10 million HP left, which was a bit subtle. In other words, this young man almost killed the holy beast. I am afraid that I have done something unnecessary. I am Qin Chuan, the city lord of the city, and this is my wife, Zaijian. Qin Chuan stated his identity. At the same time, the woman named Zaijian also smiled and nodded to Ye Chen, Tank, and others. Qin Chuan smiled again and said, we can't use the loot dropped by the holy beast, so I'll give it to you. Thank you, Lord City Lord. Tank was immediately ecstatic and looked at the holy giant shield. Shura shield, holy weapon. Level 60. Physical defense add 1880. Magic defense add 1550. Strength add 620. Stamina add 1200. Intelligence add 320. Spirit add 320. Agility add 190. Special effect fire, light, ice, dark resistance add 300 points. Special effect stiffness add 500 points. Special effect shield attack LV add 5. Special effect shield attack CD -2 seconds. Special effect after the shield attack hits the target, quicksand is triggered. Good shield. Tank was ecstatic. His Iron Warrior could not follow the level and would be eliminated sooner or later. Now that he had the Holy Giant Shield, he was naturally happy. But he still couldn't pick it up at this time. Although Qin Chuan didn't want these spoils, it would take half an hour before others could pick it up. Monsters are attacking the city, and only the warriors can help protect my Tsar city. The mere spoils are just a token of my appreciation. Qin Chuan smiled slightly and looked at Ye Chen with interest, and even if my wife and I didn't come, this little brother would probably be able to kill Cell. That's for sure, he is our president. Everyone looked at Ye Chen with pride. Haha, that's how it is. Qin Chuan smiled in surprise. My wife and I will go first. Warriors, let's say goodbye. I hope you will stay in Tsar City. With a smile, Qin Chuan and Zai-Jun turned into streams and flew away. The strong men in the Holy Land can fly freely without the help of wings. Although Cell died, the monster siege was still not over. At this time, the open space where Ye Chen, Tank, and others were located was flooded with monsters like a tide. Next, Ye Chen still led the team to kill monsters. Half an hour later, Cell's spoils of war became ownerless, and Tank got the Cell shield as he wished. Chew! Just then, a desert eagle swooped over, and Tank shouted, and the giant shield slammed towards the desert eagle. The moment the giant shield touched the desert eagle, a stream of quicksand gushed out, and the desert eagle was blown away more than 10 yards away. Tisk tisk, this holy weapon is good, Tank exclaimed in ecstasy. Ha, Tank, you are going to switch to the rhythm of playing a shield warrior. Everyone laughed. Tank looked down on the shield warrior's equipment that was dropped in the dungeon before, but now he needs it again. Tank was completely unaware of the ridicule of everyone, and said happily, "That's right, just play a shield warrior, unlimited shield strikes, unlimited quicksand. It's not just a shield bash warrior. Tank, your giant shield has a 2-second shield bash cooldown. If you just bring a few shield bash warrior suits, you can achieve a CD-free shield bash." Yechen smiled and said, "As for other parts, you can still wear the Iron Warrior suit. The giant shield of the tank increases the stiffness by 500 points. If you wear about 3 pieces of shield strike warrior equipment, you can have unlimited shield strike. With the remaining 5 pieces of equipment, continue to wear the Iron Warrior suit, and you will still be able to beat 1,000 points. A mixture of shield bash and Iron Warrior." Tank's eyes lit up. "Let's go, the dungeon is up and we can get some shield warrior suits for the tank." The shield attack on the Iron Warrior was obviously very powerful. Seeing the impatient look on the tank, Yechen probably had no intention of defending the city, so he smiled and said. After finishing the Origin of Nightmares, Tank finally became a shield strike Iron Warrior as he wished. Wuxian.c. Then Yechen led the group to the neutral camp, bought Nightmare Touch, and got another Wind Warrior's dagger. He already had a Wind Warrior dagger, but it was marked with Fire Attribute Magic Crystal and became Fire Attributed. But with such a Fire Attribute dagger, Yechen would be at a disadvantage when fighting the Fire Dragon. But if he uses other daggers and loses the speed of the Wind Warrior, Yechen will not be able to catch up with the Fire Dragon. Therefore, it is the best choice to use the Wind Warrior with 2 daggers. Paralyzed, a mythical beast has been refreshed in the LV1 main city. Really or not? I'm still lying to you. Tell you, my eldest brother is an elite member of the Merchant Alliance. They are besieging the mythical beast. The level 10 mythical beast, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yechen came out after completing the dungeon and came to the main city of level 5 of the neutral camp. When he heard the quarrels of the passing players, he was immediately startled. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 434. Mythical Beast. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yechen, Tank, and others looked at each other in confusion. W.sim.la. Damn it, the first mythical beast in the Chinese war zone was finally born. As for the Yuan Dan of the mythical beast that Jian Wuhan, Shang Meng, and others killed, in Yechen's opinion, that thing was not considered a mythical beast at all. Fight or not? Is it too late for us to go to the LV1 main city now? Everyone looked excited, rubbing their hands and thinking about it. You must know that they are now in the main city of level 5 of the neutral camp. It will take 3 to 4 hours to walk to the main city of level 1, no matter how fast it is. By then, will the mythical beast be dead? After all, it's just a level 10 mythical beast, so people don't have much confidence in it. Depressed, including the mythical beast UN egg from last time and the Tyrannosaurus Rex, why are they all in the neutral camp? Nonsense, neutral camp, then players from the 3 camps can move freely. This is not bad. If the Tyrannosaurus Rex spawns in the dark camp, we won't even be able to drink soup. I know this too, but the neutral camp is too dominant. Discussions arose among the team. The neutral camp does have an advantage, just like this time when the mythical beasts are refreshed. At least 200 million players in the neutral camp can teleport there at will and participate in the battle against the mythical beasts. Even if you die, you can resurrect at any time and fight again. Although players from the light and dark camps can move freely in the neutral camp, they cannot use the teleportation stones of that camp. Yechen waved his hand, "Let's go, it's definitely too late. You guys underestimate the mythical beast too much." So the army was dispatched and marched rapidly in the dark night. In less than an hour, Yechen was the first to arrive at the main city of level 1 of the neutral camp, leaving Tank and others far behind. Extreme Wind Warriors are at least twice as fast as ordinary players. Yuchen himself is an assassin who is known for his speed, and the feedback power of the blood tree increases his speed. His speed can be summed up in one word, that is, walking like the wind. Roar. I saw open flames and the scarlet eyes of crazy monsters everywhere in the dark main city. There is one place that is the brightest, which is where the Tyrannosaurus Rex is. Its body is only one size smaller than Salu, but its body is more slender. Tyrannosaurus Rex is a giant dragon from the west. It is not as noble and mysterious as the dragon from the east, but it is inherently wild and violent. Among the western giant dragon races, Tyrannosaurus Rex is considered to be at the top of the food chain, so it is not surprising that a mythical beast appears. Because the distance was too far and it was dark, Yuchen should not have been able to see the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but the crowds of people near the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and the various brilliant skills hitting it, made that area look like daylight. In that bright light, I saw the Tyrannosaurus Rex running at will, thick smoke rising from its feet, easily trampling thousands of people, high-pitched screams rising and falling with each other. The main city was also in dilapidated condition. Yuchen ignored the Tyrannosaurus Rex for the time being, but ran around in the ruins, found 5 hidden corners and plugged in the detection device. The reconnaissance device is very fragile and will die if touched. Moreover, the battlefield is already in chaos, and the so-called hidden corners are not very safe. Therefore, Yuchen had to put in a few more. Moreover, this is only the first-hand preparation. As early as on the way, Yuchen ordered Laya and Xiaomao to lead the team to a small town or village near the LV1 main city, directly capture and build a base, and hold on to the position. In this way, all members of the throne party can participate in the activities of attacking the divine beasts. Call out. After placing the detection device, Yuchen decisively opened the snake wings and flew towards the Tyrannosaurus Rex like a gust of wind. When I got closer, I realized that there was a black leather cushion on the back of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It was as if this mighty and domineering Tyrannosaurus Rex was actually just someone's mount. Who dares to take the Tyrannosaurus Rex as a mount? Only the gods. Tyrannosaurus Rex Long G, Mythical Beast. Level 10. HP 89005320 //10,000 Skills Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, Flying, Tyrant Dragon Pattern, Shock Star, Level 8, God's Domain, Overlord's Domain. Note, Tyrannosaurus Rex and Longji were originally divine beasts under a certain god in the divine domain. They made mistakes and were punished in the lower realm, and their levels were reduced to level 10. This guy actually has a name. He is indeed a mount of the gods. Yuchen was speechless, astonished. At this time, Yuchen opened his snake wings and stood high in the sky. Besides him, there were no less than 10 people in the sky. Shang Wang, Jian Wuhan, Shot Blood, and even Lan Yan, Taishan and others were also present. In addition to them, there are several powerful men from the Holy Realm with majestic auras. The mythical beasts have been born, how can they sit still? Your Excellency Longji, you are a sacred beast. When you come to the city to play in the lower world, we will sweep up your bed to welcome you. But why do you need to slaughter innocent people? A sanctuary berserker with the rank of Lieutenant General stepped out and spoke to the Tyrannosaurus Rex with a calm expression. Ha ha ha, what a damn dog, Stinky. My Tyrannosaurus clan is cruel. I finally made a trip to the lower world. How can I be satisfied without killing him and turning the world upside down? The Tyrannosaurus actually spoke, with a voice like rolling thunder. The Sanctuary Berserker and many Sanctuary NPCs were startled when they heard this, with bitter expressions on their faces. After all, the positions of NPCs and players are different. When they see a divine beast, the players are eager to kill it and explode the artifact. NPCs only have one life, and they are frightened when they see the beasts, especially the powerful ones in the sanctuary. who have the obligation and responsibility to protect the people of the city. Your Excellency, you are too disrespectful of us when you say that. You are now in the realm of God, but your level is only 10. Aren't you afraid of falling here? Another Saint Domain strongman said sternly. Ha, with you little ants, how can I take you seriously? Tyrannosaurus Rex sneered. The Saint Domains were speechless immediately, and then they burst into anger, saying sternly, it seems that there is no room for negotiation, kill. Let's go together and kill this big lizard. Humph, you are looking for death. The Tyrannosaurus Rex snorted coldly, and its thick long tail burst the air and swept across. Ye Chen, King Shang, and others were all standing in the distance. At this moment, the Tyrannosaurus Rex's long tail was whipped towards the Saint Domain strongmen. A total of 5, Berserker, Mage, Archer, Thief *2, is their lineup. 2 Lieutenant Generals LV5 Dochi, 3 Major Generals LV4 Dochi. Savage Collision. Elemental Shield. Run. The dragon's tail attacked, and the 5 people were under great pressure. They used various means to dodge if they could, and to withstand it if they couldn't. The city lord's berserker and 2 thieves rushed dozens of yards in the air. With 2 bangs, the Tyrannosaurus Rex's tail hit the mage and archer firmly, and they were blown away. The air wave rolled, and the 2 retreated hundreds of yards and smashed into the dilapidated house. Dragon Breath. The Tyrannosaurus Rex raised its head high, and its bloody mouth spurted out red dragon breath, which flashed hundreds of yards and further hit the house. The house exploded with a bang, and black smoke and fierce flames were raised. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 435. -320000905. -10080200. Along with the house explosion, 2 huge damages emerged, and the 2 sanctuary strongmen were blown away again. Simon. Law. Obviously, the archer was seriously injured, and the mage's elemental shield reduced most of the damage. Of course, the HP of the 80-level sanctuary NPC, the shield warrior and the berserker easily exceeded 1 million, and even the thief, the mage, and the archer would have more than 600,000 HP at this moment. The reduction of tens of millions is not fatal. Humph, when I was at my peak, I could kill you bunch of trash in seconds, Tyrannosaurus said proudly. He seemed to be dissatisfied with his own damage, which was also normal. He was only level 10 now, and I don't know how many times his strength and damage had dropped. As he said that, 2 white breaths came out of his nose, as if to show his dissatisfaction. At the same time, he pounded the ground with 1 foot, causing an 8-level vibration. A group of crazy players under his feet screamed but did not fall, and white light flashed continuously. This kick killed at least tens of thousands of players. However, the number of players besieging the Tyrannosaurus Rex was more than hundreds of millions, and tens of thousands of players were just a drop in the bucket. When the players in front died, the players behind were not afraid but happy, and surrounded and continued to attack frantically, but their damage was just a tickle for the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Up-and-coming players, you also come to help. The city lord glanced at Ye Chen, Shang Wang, and others, and his expression eased a little. In front of the beast, the 5 of them were the first combat power, and Ye Chen and his friends had the ability to fly, which was the second combat power. As for the players below, if the Tyrannosaurus Rex shook casually, tens of thousands of people would die. In the eyes of the city lord, they were not combat power, but just cannon fodder. In addition to dragon breath, the Tyrannosaurus Rex lacks long-range attack methods. You can help us. After the battle is over, I will reward you heavily, the city lord said loudly. Ye Chen is in the light camp, Lan Yan, Taishan, and others are in the dark camp, but this is a neutral camp, and the city lord will not regard them as enemies, but as friendly forces. However, he could think so, but Shang Wang and others would not think so. They stared at Ye Chen. Ye Chen seemed to be unaware, standing calmly in the air, changing to the 1000 machine fan and shooting darts in an orderly manner, causing damage to the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Ye Chen. Don't pretend. The beast is ours, don't even think about it. Shang Wang looked at Ye Chen and snorted coldly. The first kill of the beast, then the explosion rate of the artifact is very high. The power of the artifact can be seen from the withered sword. Even if it is only a level 10 artifact, it is a rare combat power. Moreover, Shang Wang and others know that Ye Chen has the forging skill and can upgrade the artifact. In other words, a level 10 artifact, if it falls into their hands, it is a level 10 artifact, but if it falls into the hands of Ye Chen, the consequences will be disastrous. Of course, the artifact is a bound item, and it is bound once picked up. Then, unless it is the equipment used by Ye Chen himself, the forging technique can be used to upgrade it. After all, the forging technique cannot be used on others. There are many types of equipment in fantasy world, and the probability of exploding the equipment used by assassins is not high, but Shang Wang and others still dare not take risks. It's better to be safe than sorry. Ye Chen is now so perverted that it's outrageous. What will happen if he gets the artifact? Lord City Lord, that Ye Chen has ulterior motives. He is not a friend of my neutral camp at all. How about this? Let the City Lord take action and kill him first, and then we can concentrate on dealing with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Shang Wang proposed to the City Lord respectfully. Hearing this, Jian Wuhan and Yuqiang Bleed, Lan Yan, Taishan and others laughed secretly, staring at Ye Chen with sinister eyes. Damn it, it was taken by a level 80 Saint Domain strongman. Ye Chen, you will die without a burial place today. However, Ye Chen just sneered in his heart, a group of frogs in the well, you don't know yet, I already have the strength to fight against the Saint Domain strongman. Of course, even though he sneered, Ye Chen did not say anything. The City Lord had his own standpoint, and he might not listen to the player's advice. Sure enough, the City Lord frowned upon hearing this, and shouted sternly, "Asshole! Now that the beast is in front of you, can't you tell the enemy from us? That little brother helped us kill the beast, so he is a friendly army. How can he have any ulterior motives?" Haha, the City Lord is wise. Ye Chen laughed happily. Shang Wang and others were dumbfounded. Fortunately, although the City Lord made his standpoint clear in a stern voice, he had no intention of interfering with them. If the City Lord doesn't kill, they will. Ye Chen, everyone present is a king, we will join forces to kill you, and be as proud as possible. Because you can only take advantage of now. Leng Tong's eyes sternly, and he spread his wings and attacked Ye Chen with a group of kings. Humph, these guys. The City Lord and others saw this and were immediately a little angry, but they still had to deal with the Tyrannosaurus Rex, so they really didn't have much spare energy to be distracted. The same was true for the Tyrannosaurus Rex. He saw that the enemies were actually fighting among themselves, and he smiled secretly in his heart. But he lacked long-range attack means, and the City Lord and others were standing in front of him, so he had no intention of intervening. So, the battlefield was divided into two situations. The City Lord and other 5 holy domains, together with hundreds of millions of players and NPC guards below, focused on dealing with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And Ye Chen had to face the king of Shang, Jian Wuhan, Lan Yan, and other kings. Roar! With a roar, a pitch-black giant wolf spread its wings and flew over. It was fierce and powerful, and it was not difficult for high-end players to judge that the black wolf was a sub-holy beast. It was the transformation of the ghost disciple's soul. His black wolf pet had evolved to maturity and was a national golden lord, a sub-holy beast. But the sub-holy beast is just a pet, and its HP has been greatly weakened. But after the ghost disciple released his soul, he has the attributes of a full-blown sub-holy beast, and his HP has exceeded 100 million. Moreover, the Ghost Disciple is a soul eater. After releasing his soul, he can still use his own skills, such as flying. At this moment, the Black Wolf came first and approached Ye Chen first. Armament hardening. Dochi. Flame armor. Facing the sub-holy beast, Ye Chen did not dare to be careless. He opened BFF in succession, and his body surface instantly became shiny black, and the outer layer was covered with a layer of flame armor. The outer layer was Cyan Dochi. Powerful attack. Ye Chen's speed was not slower than that of the Black Wolf, and he was even slightly faster. He rushed out like a gust of wind, and he and Xiao He cut off the left and right wings of the Black Wolf with a knife. These were the wings of the Ghost Disciple, and they were actually destroyed. -132-0050. -137-2820. 2 consecutive damages appeared, but the Ghost's HP exceeded 100 million, and he didn't care about the less than 3 million damage. But his wings were cut off, and the Black Wolf he transformed into lost the ability to fly. It was like a falling meteor, smashing into the ground, stirring up smoke and dust. Ye Chen did this intentionally. It is undeniable that the Ghost is difficult to deal with now. With hundreds of millions of HP, he is too lazy to entangle with him. Just shoot him down. 015. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 436. Look, King Shang, Jian Wuhan, Yuqiang Shaoxiu, Lan Yan, Taishan, Kitu, Lengtong, Yanguo, a total of 8 kings. Ye Shen, that idiot, actually wants to fight alone. The rolling players below bombarded the Tyrannosaurus Rex while excitedly looking at the battle in the sky. WW Sim La. You know, most of them are ordinary players. Although Ye Chen's name broadcasting professional is already famous and resounding throughout the country. But his deeds of slaughtering King Shang and other kings were all born in Hyhaxia, and ordinary players are not aware of it. Google searched Can. They don't even know how strong Ye Chen is. Is he at the level of a king? How dare he fight against 8 kings alone? Ye Chen is the champion of the light camp after all, and he is quite powerful. He actually cut off the wings of the Ghost Disciple with one knife. I don't understand this. Wings seem to be a fashion, right? Can Ye Shen destroy fashion? Strange. But it seems to be true. What's the big deal about cutting off someone's wings? Do you have the guts to fight against the Ghost Disciple? The Ghost Disciple transformed into a sub-saint beast, with HP exceeding 100 million, and he only dared to cut off the wings, not to fight head-on. Well, Ye Shen took a side path, and the king on the opposite side could only take shortcuts and dared not to fight head-on. Now it's 8-1, no, now it's 7-1, I say that Ye Shen's idiot will be killed in a minute. Everyone whispered to each other and expressed their opinions. After all, they are players in the neutral camp. Psychologically, they must support Shang Wang and others, and reject Ye Chen. On the other side, the sky is still fighting fiercely. Ye Chen had just cut off the Ghost Disciple, and Jian Wuhan held the broken sword, teleported like jumping, and cut Ye Chen with one knife. -9,200. Jian Wuhan was stunned by the damage. Back then, he held the artifact withered sword and broke Ye Chen's fighting spirit with one sword. Ordinary attacks were enough to make Ye Chen's health remain. Now, the withered sword is broken. It is only a broken sword and a semi-artifact. Using the skill Instant Slash, it can only deal this little damage. Obviously, this is not just a problem of his broken sword. Compared with the last time, Ye Chen has more armed hardening and flame armor. With such a strong defense, Jian Wuhan is proud of the damage he dealt. Without the artifact, "You are vulnerable," Ye Chen said coldly. The voice was like a heavy hammer, hitting Jian Wuhan's heart hard. His mouth twitched, but Ye Chen suddenly made a move. The blood blade passed through the red light in the dark night, cutting his throat, and blood gushed out. Slashing the throat. -190,032. The huge damage appeared, and Jian Wuhan's eyes were full of disbelief. His HP quickly returned to 0, and his body fell down powerlessly. Impossible. Jian Wuhan is the champion of our neutral camp. Even if we look at the entire Chinese war zone, no one can match him. He is at the top of the pyramid. In the future, when the world war breaks out, Jian Wuhan will definitely lead us to attack foreign countries. Now, he was killed by Ye Chen in one blow. What the hell, this is unbelievable. 666, 6 burst, this Ye Chen is 2-6. 6 Nima, which side are you on? Really, you should know that Jian Wuhan has a magic weapon called the Withered Greatsword is now broken and has become a semi-artifact, combined with the fact that Ye Chen cut off the wings of the ghost disciple before, I have to suspect that it was Ye Chen who cut off Jian Wuhan's artifact. In other words, Ye Chen and Jian Wuhan have fought each other before. Yes, no matter what the outcome was at that time, but now, Ye Chen seems to be able to easily crush Jian Wuhan. Easily crush Jian Wuhan? What level is this? The players below, watching Ye Chen kill Jian Wuhan in one blow, felt that a bomb exploded in their hearts, bombing them into a daze. Some even trembled with fear, as if their testicles had exploded. 1,000 needle slaughter. Heavy sniper. The battle continued. The speed of the ghost disciple and Jian Wuhan was too fast. After Ye Chen shot down and killed the two, he rushed forward for a few seconds. Leng Tong and Yi Jiang arrived and launched an attack. Countless silver needles were shot at, and among them, there was a black cannonball. Ping ping pong. -320. -319. -321. 1,000 needle slaughter is the hidden weapon style of thieves, and Leng Tong's hidden weapon style is obviously not very good. The damage of his silver needles is average. Ye Chen's armed hardening, hard to withstand the silver needles, but the silver needles broke, and his body was motionless. On the contrary, the heavy sniper with a gun spurting blood actually pushed Ye Chen back 3 yards. Ye Chen's armed hardening is only LV1, and the stiffness increase is limited. It is not a subdominant body. The heavy sniper with a gun spurting blood blasted him back, but could not produce stiffness. It can't be hit. Ye Chen LV2 Dochi, hardening, plus flame armor, the defense is so terrifying. Leng Tong and Yi gun spurting blood looked at the damage they had caused and were stunned for a while. Humph. Ye Chen smiled coldly and also launched the 1,000 needle slaughter. Countless silver needles covered the sky and shot the two people into sieves, pierced with thousands of holes, and bled to death. Xiao He was in the front and also launched the 1,000 needle slaughter. The invisible and completely invisible silver needles killed the king of Shang and Yanguo. In just a moment, 4 more kings died. Tisk tisk, what a monster, Gui Tu, Jian Wuhan, Leng Tong, Yi Jiang spit blood, king of Shang, Yanguo, in the blink of an eye, 6 of the 8 kings died. Damn it, who said Ye Chen is a rubbish? The players below were already stunned by Ye Chen's crazy slaughter of the kings. This was definitely not the result they imagined. In their opinion, no matter how powerful Ye Chen was, he would not be a match for the 8 kings and should be killed instantly. But now, the situation is completely reversed. Ye Chen's strength can actually crush the kings. It's only been a few seconds. Ye Chen has killed 6 kings in a row. It's your turn next. Ye Chen sneered and rushed towards Lan Yan and Tai Shan together with Xiao He. The speed was so fast that it blew gusts of wind, making Lan Yan and Tai Shan very afraid. Speed is definitely not a capital for challenging higher level opponents. A real strong man is like Taishan. No matter how fast the enemy is, as long as he can see it with his eyes, he can fight back. Kings are all born from fighting on the battlefield. Zaoshan.c has a very calm mentality, can turn decay into magic, and use calmness to control speed. Of course, this is when the two sides are at different realms. Today, Yechen is also at the level of a king, and his speed immediately occupies a great advantage. Swish. Yechen made a feint and swept behind Lan Yan like a gust of wind. At this time, although Lan Yan reacted, he couldn't think of a way to deal with it for a while. Backstab. -62,002. Huge damage emerged. Yechen's knife penetrated through the fighting spirit and pierced through the ice armor, killing Lan Yan. The ice formation that Lan Yan was proud of could not be used in the air, and the advantage was completely not reflected. Unless it is a holy domain, the magic array skills can be placed in the air, and the wings simply allow the user to fly by himself. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 437. While Yechen was killing Lan Yan, Xiaohe also attacked Taishan. Sim La. Google search Furtkan. What's going on? Taishan was stunned. He couldn't see the enemy and was hurt for no reason. Anyone would be stunned. Fortunately, Taishan's defense was abnormal. Xiaohe attacked for 3 seconds, but Taishan was still as steady as Taishan. Swish. Yechen pulled out a stream of green light, approached Taishan, and attacked suddenly. Stop. Seeing that Yechen had slaughtered the other 6 people, the city lord finally couldn't bear it anymore and shouted. Spinning stab. -13,002. -16,205. However, as the city lord finished speaking, Yechen withdrew his move, and Taishan's HP returned to 0, and he fell from the air powerlessly. The man had been killed anyway, and Yechen looked like a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water, and said with a smile, City Lord, you saw it too, they wanted to get me first, I can't not fight back, right? Hearing this, a hint of sinisterness flashed in the City Lord's eyes, and suddenly the Tyrannosaurus Rex's long tail swept over, and he didn't care to think too much, and focused on dealing with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yechen smiled playfully, and didn't say anything more, and began to target the Tyrannosaurus Rex. The Tyrannosaurus Rex lacked long-range attack means, and Yechen was in no danger of taking advantage and retreating. 10 minutes passed quickly, and Yechen's flight fell into a long cooling time, flying, duration 10 minutes, cooling time 60 minutes. Xiaohe Yechen shouted softly, and then turned off his fighting spirit, hardened armed, and flame armor. At the same time, Xiaohe suddenly pounced and killed Yechen with a throat slash. Resurrection. As the corpse fell, Yechen was resurrected again, and immediately started flying to stabilize his body. After all, it is too dangerous to fight the Tyrannosaurus Rex without flying, which can be seen from the miserable state of the players below. On the contrary, it is much safer to have the ability to fly. Armament hardening. Flame armor. Blood blade. Yechen opened up the BFF again and continued to attack the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and soon 20% of his health was replenished again. 5 hours passed in a flash, and the hundreds of millions of players below did not decrease at all, but increased. Of course, the average level of these people may have dropped by more than 1 level. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was bombarded for 5 hours, and its HP was only 4 billion. A group of small ants, it's impossible to kill them all. It's like an ant swallowing an elephant. No matter how weak the players are, they are numerous, and they are not afraid of death, anyway, they will be resurrected after they die. On the other hand, although the Tyrannosaurus Rex is extremely powerful, it also feels the crisis under the slow consumption. Tyrannosaurus pattern. The Tyrannosaurus rex roared, and the surface of its body was actually covered with dense black lines, making it look even more terrifying. Next, the player attacked the Tyrannosaurus rex, but found that he could not break the defense, and could only deal a mandatory 1 damage. So, the leader of the Tyrannosaurus rex showed a dense 1. Damn, the Tyrannosaurus rex's defense has been strengthened. It was originally only a level 10 beast. I could break the defense, but now I can't beat it? Me too. The group of players below reacted immediately, but it was not just that. The appearance of the Tyrannosaurus rex pattern made the Tyrannosaurus rex's power and output stronger as a whole. Boom. He rushed forward suddenly, smoke and dust burst, and the number of players who died was more than before. However, even so, the players lost their fighting spirit. When someone died, someone else immediately came to replace him. No matter how the Tyrannosaurus rex was killed, it was impossible to kill them all. Everyone, charge. So what if we can't break the defense? It's enough for us to deal 1 point of damage, and kill him with numbers. That's right, his Tyrannosaurus pattern is probably also a skill. Once it cools down, our output will definitely increase. The battle cry sounded, and the players' fighting spirit remained undiminished. Like a death squad, they continued to rush towards the Tyrannosaurus rex. Domain, elemental space. Suddenly, the elemental mage's sanctuary strongman made a move, and within 1,000 yards, the originally dilapidated and ruined environment turned into a warm and peaceful colorful space. In the air, 6 rainbows rose, and Yechen and the other 5 sanctuary strongmen seemed to be standing on the rainbow. Everything was like a dream. The Tyrannosaurus rex snorted lightly, and swung out a dragon claw, trying to destroy the domain, but failed. If it was a level 100 Tyrannosaurus rex, it would naturally be easy to defeat the domain of the sanctuary, but he was only level 10 now, and he couldn't destroy it. At the same time, the players were excited. Since the elemental space appeared, they found that the damage of the Tyrannosaurus rex was reduced. No, to be precise, their defense was improved. Humph, a mere ant is also showing off his domain in front of me. It's time for you to taste the domain of God. The Tyrannosaurus rex sneered and snorted directly with his nose. You can imagine how disdainful he was. Immediately, a white light flashed, and the entire huge body of the Tyrannosaurus rex turned into a dazzling white light, and then the white light shrank at a speed visible to the naked eye until it finally shrank to the size of a human. The white light gradually dissipated, and the Tyrannosaurus rex turned into a middle-aged man with disheveled hair and a fierce look. Transformation. The group of players below were stunned looking at the man in the air. Transformation is transformation, don't fly in the air. Now, except for the long-range profession, others can't attack, so it's a waste. And not only that, after the transformation, the Tyrannosaurus rex, Long G, became smaller, more agile and flexible. Even for long-range professions, it was difficult to hit. God's domain, Overlord territory. I saw that Long G's body radiated endless bloodthirsty red light. In just a moment, the elemental space collapsed and shattered like a mirror. So, the whole space turned into an evil dark red domain. In the domain, there was a heavy pressure. Under the horrible pressure, the players below felt weak and sweaty. They even had an absurd idea of kneeling down to worship. Bang bang bang. A muffled sound came, and someone really knelt down. This caused a chain reaction, and more people knelt down. Not only that, in the www.zhaozhan.om domain, the originally tall buildings sank into the ground one after another. This pressure is real. The players did not kneel down willingly, but were forced to lie down by the pressure. Ha ha ha, kneel down. Long G laughed wildly in the air, his body moved, his long hair flew, and the next moment, he had already descended to the ground and came to the group of players. Genshin level 8. Long Ji was like a demon from purgatory, with a surge of murderous energy, and one claw pierced through a player's chest, and an earthquake occurred. Boom. After Long Ji transformed, his body became smaller, and his attack range became smaller. The original Tyrannosaurus Rex could kill tens of thousands of people with a random charge. But now he can only kill one person with one claw, but the earthquake surged, and it was like a mine explosion within 100 yards. All the kneeling players in the range died. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 438. Bang, bang, bang. Long Ji was extremely fast, with 100 yards in one step. He could easily hit a person and cause an earthquake. Simon. Law. A series of shock waves were set off, like thunder exploding on the ground. Smoke and dust rose up, and few players in the range survived, and most of them were directly killed by the shock. You should know that Genshin level 8 not only increases the range, but also the power. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. Ha ha ha, die, all of you die. Long Ji was the most brutal demon, slaughtering crazily. The players also resisted, bombarding with various long-range skills, but Long Ji was too fast, and they couldn't hit anyone at all. Not only that, their skills hit other players instead. Hiss. In the air, the city lord and others looked terrified and serious, and their eyebrows were twisted into a river shape. A level 10 divine beast, the reason why they are afraid is because of this divine domain. And the appearance of the divine domain actually directly squeezed the domain of element space. The territory of the overlord, this domain is not just as simple as gravity. I have become weak, and all attributes have dropped by at least 30%. Especially the speed, because of the influence of gravity, it has dropped. The city lord smiled bitterly. After the Tyrannosaurus Rex transformed, it was obviously more powerful. If they continue to fight, I am afraid that someone will die. Even so, they have to fight. As the city lord of the city, or the strong men of the holy domain, they have the responsibility and obligation to protect the city. Let's go together and reduce casualties as much as possible. Yes. The holy domains looked at each other, with expressions of death on their faces, and turned into streams of light and flew towards Long Ji. Hey, Xiao He, it's our turn to go up. First destroy his combat boots. Ye Chen chuckled and swooped down with Xiao He. Below, the players adapted to the influence of gravity, and those who knelt stood up with shame. It was too bad, just playing a game, but they actually knelt on the ground. Fortunately, there were many people kneeling on the ground. As the saying goes, someone took the blame, and their panic and shy hearts gradually stabilized. But even so, they stood up, and they still had no way to face Long Ji. Damn it, the Tyrannosaurus Rex was easier to fight, at least we could cause real damage. But now facing this Long Ji, we have no way at all. Hundreds of millions of players all smiled bitterly. If they want to hurt Long Ji now, they have to catch up with him first. Long Ji's speed is too fast, and ordinary players can't catch up with him at all. I'm afraid only the 5 saints and the night god can barely catch up. In a flash, the city lord swooped down, and a strong airflow surged around him, power to split mountains and rivers. Humph! Long Ji reacted instantly. He was so fast that he jumped back and avoided the city lord's attack. Boom! The city lord's force of splitting mountains and rivers hit the empty space, generating a huge shockwave and rolling air waves. Just the air wave also made Long Ji fall into a state of stiffness, standing in the air, temporarily unable to move. Poisonous dragon drill. Suddenly, 2 thieves appeared out of thin air beside Long Ji, one on the left and one on the right, with violent and cold momentum, and even a purple poisonous dragon phantom appeared behind them. Then, the poisonous dragon roared and suddenly hit Long Ji. The two of them, one on the left and one on the right, hit him through. -19201290. -19327230. -1002020. -1002020. First, two huge damages appeared, and Long G was even a little unstable. Then, a strong purple gas emerged from his body, and he fell into a state of severe poison, decreasing every second. Hiss. Such terrible damage, the strong man in the holy domain uses a level 80 big move. The group of players below were stunned. Powerful attack. -970,021. -962,301. Then Ye Chen arrived, and of course there was Xiao He, who was invisible to outsiders. The two of them, one on the left and one on the right, directly chopped Long Ji's combat boots. With a crack, Long Ji's two combat boots burst open, revealing the bare feet inside. Although Ye Chen's damage was not as good as the 80-level ultimate move of the Saint Domain Strongman, it destroyed Long Ji's combat boots and caused his speed to drop sharply. Why are the beasts so strong? It can be completely understood that they are wearing a set of artifacts. Now that one artifact is missing, it is a great weakening for Long Ji. Get out of here! Long Ji roared fiercely, and his HP was still more than 3 billion. It didn't matter if he suffered a few tens of millions of damage, but his speed dropped directly by a level when his combat boots were destroyed. With a roar, Long Ji slapped Ye Chen with one palm. In human form, Long Ji's weapon is a sharp claw, which hits Ye Chen and directly triggers Zhenxing level 8. With a loud bang, thunder exploded on the ground, and the ground shook violently. Ye Chen was not hit by the ground because his snake wings were slightly off the ground, but Long Ji's palm also had a shock, which directly shook Ye Chen away and sent him flying backwards. Dragon Breath. At the same time, Long Ji's eyes were stern, his head shifted 45 degrees to the right, and he opened his mouth to spray out a dark red energy cannon. Looking up along the dragon's breath, 100 yards away, the archer pulled his longbow into a full moon, and his whole body was surging with momentum. It was obviously a powerful move. Speaking of which, except for the thief's poisonous dragon drill, most of the level 80 skills need to be charged or chanted. With a bang, the archer was hit by the dragon's breath directly. He was full of disbelief. The big move he had worked so hard to charge was actually broken. With a trace of regret, the archer was blown away directly. Meteor shower. However, on the other side, the elemental mage finished chanting, and the sky was full of fire rain, hitting Long Ji and Ye Chen's heads. Smoke and dust rose, and the fire curtain flew, and the two of them were blown into the ground. Your grandfather, it seems that these sanctuaries don't take me seriously. In the rain of fire, Ye Chen lay on the ground, gritting his teeth in hatred. Damn friendly forces, the elemental mage sanctuary used a big move, completely ignoring his own life and death. There is a tacit understanding between the sanctuaries. The city lord and two other thieves retreated after the fight, but I am still here. What about the elementalists? Ye Chen's eyes were gloomy. Fortunately, it was a meteor shower. You know, the hidden profession of the elemental mage is very special. He can use all kinds of magic. Now a meteor shower, Ye Chen did not die. After all, he has more than 5,000 fire resistance. The elemental meteor shower, when it hit him, reduced the damage by 50 times. Moreover, the fighting spirit armed hardened flame armor, these three defenses are superimposed, Ye Chen directly withstood. Since you are ruthless, don't blame me for being unintentional, Ye Chen said hatefully. He didn't have much respect for the so-called sanctuary strongmen, let alone people from other camps. If you mess with me, I will kill them all. 015. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 439. Suddenly, a crazy idea came to Yuchin's mind. Sim Law. From now on, we will withdraw from the battle and let the city lord and others fight with Longji and both sides will suffer. Then harvest it yourself. At that time, it will not only be the first kill of the divine beast, but also the city lord and others. Yuchin will also be killed. Furthermore, with the help of monsters to attack the city was captured directly. Grandma, capture the main city. This kind of thing has never happened even in the previous life. I am setting a precedent today. Thinking of this, Yuchin couldn't contain his excitement. The only regret is that what he wants to capture is not the main city of the dark camp, but the main city of the neutral camp. There's a big difference. Players from the light camp will be rewarded with great meritorious deeds if they capture a city from the dark camp. And for capturing the main city of the neutral camp, not only will there be no merit reward, but a huge amount of merit will be deducted. Because in terms of setting, the neutral camp is neutral. To a certain extent, it is a reserve reinforcement for both the light and dark sides. Yuchin's attack on them would be tantamount to destroying the harmony of the friendly forces. The Light Alliance would definitely be displeased and would definitely deduct merit points as punishment. It's just meritorious service. If you lose it, you can make more money. But I can't even imagine the kind of benefits from conquering a main city. Once the main city is captured, all the small towns and villages within its territory will recognize its master. Yuchin is the city lord. Anyone else who enters within the scope will need to pay a cut-off fee. Moreover, as the city lord, Yuchin will also receive dividends from the main city and all small towns and villages. That kind of figure is so huge that it's unimaginable. I'm afraid it's no problem to make tens of millions a day, tens of millions, and it's in RMB. Once I capture the main city, I will earn at least tens of millions per day. If I can defend it for just a few days, I will be a billionaire. Yuchin smiled slightly. Money was an external possession and he didn't care much about it, but it wasn't something illegal or criminal now. Who would refuse the opportunity to make hundreds of millions? Boom. While Yuchin was pondering, the city lord and others were already standing with Longji. Now Longji had lost his boots and his speed dropped sharply. The city lord and others can finally let go and fight directly from the air. Yuchin stood on the ground calmly and only sent Xiaohei to fly up and steal. Now Xiaohei can stay 40 yards away from him, which is completely within reach. Xiaohei stole pieces of equipment and dropped them directly. Yuchin seemed to be picking up pies falling from the sky, which shocked the onlookers. Stunned. Hey, what's going on? There are equipment, gold coins, silver coins and materials falling from the sky. It's strange. I have been playing games for more than 10 years and I have never seen anything like this before. You're talking about an egg, grab it? A group of players roared crazily and ran towards Yuchin. They also wanted to pick up things. In fact, they didn't know that these gold and silver equipment materials were stolen by Xiaohei from Longji. However, these equipments all have colors, which means they are all good equipment. And drop gold coins directly, gold coins, 100 yuan each, no matter what the equipment is, grab the gold coins first from his grandma. It's too dark. It's hard to see the quality of the equipment that fell from the sky. They might all be green equipment. Brothers, grab the gold coins decisively. There was a roar and the battlefield was in chaos. However, Yuchin didn't even look at the gold and silver coins, he just grabbed the equipment. And it's a flight grab. They're all SB, equipment stolen from divine beasts, a bunch of purple equipped gold equipment, and maybe even holy weapons. Are you picking up gold coins? Silver coins. Yuchin laughed secretly in his heart, but he would not point it out. The players did not compete with him for gold coins, but he was very happy. 6 hours passed in a flash, and Yechen picked up 2 of the holy weapons alone, and there were countless other gold and purple equipment. Dragon Scale Battle Clothes, Holy Artifact. Level 10. Physical Defense add 320. Strength add 150. Physical Strength add 150. Light, Dark, Fire and Ice Resistance add 50. Hard add 100. Special Effect Physical Strength add 300. Dragon Breath Bracelet, Holy Artifact. Level 10. Magic Defense add 300. Strength add 120. Physical Strength add 120. Light, Dark, Fire and Ice Resistance add 50. When additionally attacking, there is a 1% chance of triggering Dragon Breath. Both of the 2 holy weapons can be considered to be of the highest quality, but it is a pity that no divine weapon has appeared yet. After all, it is an artifact and will not simply be born. But this is the first time Tyrannosaurus Rex appears. If you kill it, there is indeed a great chance of giving birth to an artifact. Yechen was leisurely picking up equipment here, overjoyed. Players also enjoy picking up gold and silver coins. You know, when Xiaohei steals Longji, if there are gold and silver coins, there will be a lot of them. Of course the players will be happy to pick them up. Until now, they haven't figured out why equipment coins dropped from the sky. On the other side, the city lord and others were locked in a bitter battle. Yechen Xiaohei does not participate in the war. They have the ability to destroy Longji's equipment. If they participate in the war, they will greatly weaken Longji's combat effectiveness. But they just didn't join the war, leaving the city lord and others to fight with Longji. After a full 6 hours of fighting, 2 of the 5 people including the city lord died. It was the elemental mage and 1 of the thieves. The strong men of the holy domain died in battle, and their equipment, coins, materials, etc., fell from the sky, causing the players to go crazy. Haha, it's great. Die, die more. All the players laughed wildly. You have to know that the city lord and others are in the same camp as them, but they are players after all, and their positions are different. Anyway, as long as there are good things to pick up, they can't care about other things. It's a pity that the person who killed the holy domain was Longji, and only Longji can pick up the dropped equipment. But it doesn't matter, just wait for half an hour, these things will become ownerless items, and it won't be too late to grab them then. The god's domain has lasted for 6 hours, the city lord and others are about to die, and Longji is about to die. Looking at the 4 people with low blood in the sky, Yechen laughed in his heart. At this time, Tank Big Fried Chicken Lan Huao Soy Sauce Uncle also came to Yechen, ready to take action at any time. The 6 people all have wings, and at Yechen's signal, everyone spread their wings and flew up. Go ahead, remember, those 4 are enemies. Yechen sneered, and flew up with Tank and others. Warriors of the Light Camp, it's great that you're here, I need your help. The city lord's health bar is empty, with only a few million HP left. Compared with his 10 billion HP, it can be said that he is in danger. Seeing Yechen and others flying up, he immediately smiled, and another thief archer also had a happy look on his face. 015. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 440. Warriors of the Light Camp, it's great that you are here, I need your help. At the critical moment, Yechen, Tank, and others flew up, and the city lord's face flashed with joy. Another archer and thief also felt a sense of relief. However, Tank smiled evilly, sorry, we are not here to help you, but... Tank said this, suddenly paused, and suddenly slapped the Shala shield in his hand towards the thief. Shield bash. The thief didn't expect the tank's attack at all. He was hit hard by the shield attack, and the quicksand immediately rushed out like a huge wave, knocking the thief back more than 10 yards, and he was stunned in mid-air and fell into a state of stiffness. Minus 10,202. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. The damage appeared, and the tank smiled wildly. The quicksand was really powerful, and it actually increased the damage of the shield strike. You know, the Sanctuary Thief has LV5 fighting spirit, otherwise, the tank shield damage would be several times higher. Rain of arrows. Lan then took action, staggering the thieves continuously and dealing high damage one after another. On the other side, Huo Wu instantly fired the fire dragon, and Uncle Soy Sauce instantly fired the arrow rain, which also controlled the archer sanctuary. Roar. The huge octopus king flashed out and shot out countless tentacles, tightly entangling the city lord. Crazy. What are you doing? The battle started in an instant, and before the city lord could react, he was already firmly entangled by the octopus king. He simply couldn't accept this situation and immediately roared. Haha, can't you see it now? Big Fried Chicken stood on the octopus king's head and sneered. Hey, what a dog-eat-dog. Looking at the battlefield, Big Fried Chicken used King Octopus to control the city lord. Tank and Lan took control of the thieves' sanctuary. Huo Wu and Uncle Soy Sauce took control of the archer sanctuary. Long Ji suddenly lost 3 major threats and couldn't help but laugh. That's it for you, Yuchen sneered. Dress up. Beyblade Warrior. Blade Storm. Yechen turned into a huge battle top, plowing through the air, breaking through the air and making a harsh buzzing sound. The speed was outrageous, even faster than the Wind Warrior. Well. Long Ji's eyes were filled with disbelief. In the next moment, Giro approached him and strangled him violently. He wanted to be strangled more than 10 times in 1 second, sparks flickering. Minus 12,002. Minus 13,020. Minus 12,930. Long Ji's body is covered with black Tyrannosaurus patterns, with very high stiffness and very powerful defense. The top cannot hit him at all, nor can it be absorbed, so the damage will naturally not be that high. Long Ji snorted and started to run away. However, wherever he ran, Giro would chase him. When the Giro warrior used Blade Storm, his speed was unparalleled. In less than a second, Yuchen accumulated enough combo points, and then directly released Destruction Storm. Then, as the huge top rotated, countless flame darts flew out, shooting in all directions and without blind spots. Tank, Lan, Huo Wu, Uncle Soy Sauce, and Big Fried Chicken, these 5 people are in the same guild as Yechen, and they have also formed a team with each other. Among teammates and friends, attacks are transparent by default. Countless darts were seen penetrating through the bodies of tanks and others, and then fired towards the city lord, sanctuary thieves, and sanctuary archers, causing extremely high damage. Any flame dart can hit at least 10,000 HP, not to mention such dense flame darts. Long Ji was even worse. He suffered double damage from Giro's strangulation and darts, and his HP dropped sharply. Xiaohe Yuchen thought silently in his heart. He released the Blade Storm, but Xiaohe did not. Xiaohe stepped forward and used a strong strike to cut through Long Ji's black armor. With a click, a crack appeared on the black armor on Long Ji's body. The crack expanded and then exploded into 2 halves, falling down. After losing another piece of equipment, Long Ji's defense plummeted. The Giro strangulation damage and the flame dart strafing damage also increased when they hit Long Ji. 4 seconds later, Yuchen cancelled Blade Storm. Powerful attack. Minus 720,232. With a bang, Long Ji's claws were exploded, and he used Blade Storm again. This cycle continued, and after 2 or 3 minutes, Long Ji was completely naked, and his defense, speed, and even output ability all plummeted. Moreover, the cooldown time of the Tyrant Dragon mark seemed to have expired, and it disappeared accordingly. This time, Yuchen's damage increased sharply, and the blade storm firmly absorbed Longji, dealing horrific damage one after another. Hiss. As time passed, the sanctuary thieves and sanctuary archers also fell one after another, leaving only the city lord alone. At this moment, when he saw Yechen's methods, he was trembling with fear, and a bitter taste emerged in his heart. If he had known that Yuchen was so terrifying, he should have listened to King Shang and killed Yuchen instantly in advance. But now, even if he wants to regret it, he has no chance. No, you can't kill me, my master is the middle god, I have a huge backing. If you kill me, please. Gradually, Longji only had a trace of health left. His previous arrogance had long since disappeared, and he just begged Yechen in a low voice. Haha, what have you been doing so long ago? Yechen sneered, ended the blade storm, and used Pierce with Xiaohei to shoot through Longji's body, -375-0020. As the huge damage emerged, Longji's HP returned to 0 and he fell. The corpse exploded, and countless equipment, gold coins, silver coins, and materials popped out and fell down. One of the equipment flashed with thousands of feet of light, and the beam went straight to the sky, 1,000 yards. The birth of the artifact was so grand that it attracted hundreds of millions of players below to scream wildly. Damn, what is that? It flashes such an awesome light. It must be an artifact, damn, the light went straight to the sky. 666,666. Hundreds of millions of players witnessed the birth of the artifact with their own eyes, and they were so excited that they couldn't express it in words for a while. The artifact, along with the items that Longji exploded, fell down, and soon countless players surrounded the empty space and fought directly. However, these things were dropped by Yechen, and only Yechen and his teammates were qualified to pick them up. Ordinary players like them could not pick them up at all. But even so, they were still crazy and killed anyone they saw, including Yechen. Unfortunately, Yechen was still in the air and they could not hit him. It was a mess below. In the sky, Yechen, Tank, and others also showed joy on their faces. The artifact was born, and they just had to pick it up. The city lord, who was tightly entangled by the Octopus King, looked at the sky-high beam, his eyes twitching violently. Artifact, who wouldn't be jealous? Even though he was a sanctuary, he still longed to have an artifact. Why, do you want it? Unfortunately, you don't have the chance. Not only do you not have the chance to get your hands on the artifact, you will die here today. Yechen sneered at the city lord, like a cruel demon. QBQ 520.